Hey there, it's Pete Thorn. Welcome to my home studio, and hey, welcome to the first video in my new Tone Secrets series. So what's this all about? Well, basically, I got this idea the other day to start a new YouTube playlist, and every so often I'll upload a video to it, and it's going to be all kind of tips, tricks, secrets, little things I've learned over the years, things people have shared with me that I think are interesting and that you guys might find interesting, all about tone. And in this first video, what I want to do is it's going to be all about echo and delay and kind of running it in what is seen these days as maybe being a slightly unconventional fashion, which is to run it pre-distortion. So running a delay or echo unit before your distorted amp, or maybe before your overdrive or distortion pedal. Now, I commonly get questions about pedal order. Like, what order should my pedals go in? Where's the compressor go? Where's the delay go? What should I run in the effects loop, and what should I run in the front of the amp? These kinds of questions. And the reality is, there's guidelines that we follow many times. I mean, there's kind of like 9 times out of 10 scenarios you do it this way. But this is art, and it's supposed to be art and supposed to be no two guitar rigs are the same. They're all like snowflakes or whatever. So that's kind of the fun part about it, is you don't want to do everything like everybody else. So if it sounds good, it is good. That's sort of the number one rule to abide by, I think. So the 9 times out of 10 thing with regards to delay is you run it post overdrive or post distortion. So if you got a pedal board, it's coming towards the end of the chain after your overdrives and distortion units. If you're using a distorted amp, hopefully maybe you've got an effects loop, and then you can put it in the effects loop of the amp, and then it's running post distortion. The reason for putting delay after distortion is because when you run delay into distortion, what happens is the distortion compresses and distorts the delay, and because the delay is echoing over and over, it can just get kind of chaotic, trying to blend that with whatever you're doing rhythmically and stuff, and this delay is bouncing back, and it's can kind of make your sound a bit of a distorted mess. But if you use it correctly and use the right kind of delay and set it just right, the results can be absolutely outstanding, and it can sound so cool, and actually in many instances way cooler than running it post distortion. So back in the day, before effects loops and all that business, and before digital delays, everybody was using analog or tape delays, and it was absolutely commonplace to run it into the front end of an amp. And so many times the amps were distorted. So when we think back, Joe Walsh, Jimmy Page, and certainly Eddie Van Halen, these guys were well known for using their tape delays right into the front end of a dirty amp. And the results can be, like I say, really outstanding. So I want to mainly focus on Ed Van Halen in this video, because he's probably the guy that used the most distortion with echo in front of the amp. Famous for running a Marshall on 10, all the knobs on 10, and yet he successfully ran his Echoplex into the front end and created some stellar, iconic guitar tones. And I would go as far as to say that the delay in front of the amp not only affected the guitar tone in a really, really cool way, but it actually affects the parts in some of the songs where it's used. And so it's actually becoming a part of the music in a really cool way. It's not just some echo that's adding some ambience. It's like rhythmically actually doing some stuff that's really cool. Not unlike how the Edge became famous for his echo effects. And there's a guy that always runs the delay into the front of his AC30s as well. I'm going to give you a couple musical examples here, and the first thing I'm going to show you is the song Ain't Talking About Love off Van Halen 1. Now, for the longest time, I couldn't figure out exactly how to play that song. It's not a really complicated song, I just couldn't get it to sound quite right. Specifically, in the chorus of the song, there was this little skip in the rhythm, and I'm like, how is he doing that? And I always wondered if I don't have the guitar turned on just yet, I will in a second here, but the rhythm part being, right? And I always thought maybe the pick should be like what is he doing to get the little skip? That was happening. I was hearing this like skip in the rhythm, and that didn't sound right when I was doing it that way. Well, what I discovered is, of course, it's the Echoplex, and he's got a 300 millisecond echo happening on the Echoplex with about 1 or maybe 2 repeats that's just running constantly throughout the whole song, and it absolutely affects the rhythmic feel of the song and makes it sound so cool. And there's just absolutely no way to actually get the tune to sound correct, at least not to my ears, without running that echo. Okay, so let's check it out. So just real quick, I want to go over the rig here so you know what I'm using. I've got my Sir Classic S here. It's got a new Thornbucker Plus in the bridge, and I'm running it via the new cool Line 6 G10 wireless, actually, which is awesome. And I'm running that into my Line 6 Helix based pedal board down here on the floor in front of me. I'm going to use the Helix actually just for the gray flanger to be able to play the kind of flange sound in Ain't Talking About Love, and toggle it on and off. And then for the amp sound, what I'm doing is running out into my my Kemper profiler. And I've got a Sir SL68 profile that I made myself that's kind of very Van Halen sounding to me. It's bright and you know, slightly abrasive but still warm and chewy, and it's really cool, kind of aggressive, and I dig it a lot. Now the echo is going to be coming from this MXR Echoplex pedal, which was designed to recreate, you know, the classic tape style delay, the Echoplex delay, which is what Eddie used. And this is a really, really great sounding pedal for this purpose. It's super simple and sounds just terrific for the Echoplex style thing. Okay, so let's check out the tones. Okay, so there you have it. In that first clip, you can clearly hear the 300 millisecond repeat and how cool it sounds. Now, I've got the mix set really low on the Echoplex pedal, as well as I've got the feedback real low, and that helps. You don't want to get the mix up too high, and you don't want too many repeats, or things are going to get out of control, and it's just going to get in the way of the dry guitar sound. So that's number one with making this work. You got to keep the mix quite low and the feedback down. But in addition to that, using a tape style delay or an analog delay, such as the you know, the Echoplex delay here from MXR is meant to recreate that tape sound. We're talking about reduced fidelity delays here. These are delays that have a lot of character to them, and they have a softer attack. You know, if you use a digital delay for this sound, it can be really difficult to get it to work. It's just not pleasant. The reason is those digital repeats kind of smacking back, they just get in the way of the dry guitar tone, and they're too clean. Whereas this Echoplex delay, you know, it just blends in with the core tone beautifully and sounds just great. So yeah, big part of it is keeping the mix and the feedback low, and also the type of delay you're using. You want to use an analog or tape style delay such as the Echoplex. Okay, so I just want to show you one more time now what that guitar part sounds like without the delay, and then I'll add the delay back in so you can hear what a big part of the tone it is, as well as what a big part of the actual guitar part it is. You know, it's a big part of the overall rhythm of the part to me. So the main thing I would take away is that the delay is so much more dynamic when you run it into the front of the amp. I tried to show that when you roll the volume down on the guitar with the delay in front of the amp, the delay almost disappears. And that's because, you know, the sound's getting quieter, you're not hitting the front end of the amp as hard, and the delay's coming out quieter, and so it's not hitting the amp and compressing and distorting and jumping out. The second that you dig in and roll the volume all the way up on the guitar, now that sound hits the delay hits the front end of the amp compresses and distorts the signal, and it just smacks and jumps out. So it's really, really cool and dynamic how that works. With the delay running post-distortion, the level of the delay never changes. So you roll down the guitar volume and you play, and that echo is going to stay there consistently. It's not going to jump up and down in volume. For some things, that's the right thing, but for this particular sound, it's not. I just wanted to demonstrate for you really quick the two different voicing settings there is on the MXR Echoplex pedal. There's a darker, sort of more warbly setting, and then the cleaner setting, which is what I've been using for the majority of this video. So just by pushing the volume control in here, which is really like a mix control, what happens is you get the sound of a really worn out tape. It's got a lot of wow and flutter to it, and the sound gets much darker. Now, when that happens, you can actually get the mix or volume control up higher. And the reason is because now the delay's darker, so it's blending in more with the original signal, so you can kind of bring the mix up a bit and blend in more of it. So, you know, you just want to experiment with it and see what sounds best to your ears. Let's check it out. In this last musical example, I want to give you one more example off of Van Halen 1 that I just know Ed used the Echoplex for. And I think that he actually toggled it on and off just in the chorus of the song, and that's the song On Fire. It's the only place I can really hear the echo happening is in the chorus, and I'm going to show you. You'll see me clearly turn off and on the echo pedal, and you'll recognize the part. And you know, I encourage you to go back and check out the records, listen to the albums, and listen to these parts, and see if you're hearing the same things I am. But I'm pretty sure this is the way it was done. Okay, here we go. On Fire.